Earth rained down, heavy, suffocating, each drop a reminder of the weight of loss, the finality of it all. The grave, a gaping maw, swallowed the remnants of a life once vibrant, now reduced to memories and regrets. Her name, a choked sob on his lips, meant nothing. It was a hollow sound echoing in the emptiness of his heart. He stood there, drenched in sorrow, yet unable to wash away the guilt that clung to him like a second skin. He never loved me, not truly. His promises were as fragile as the autumn leaves, crumbling under the weight of truth. I was a shadow in his life, a mere placeholder for the one he truly desired, not with her waiting in the wings. 3 months. 3 months of deceit, of whispered lies and stolen glances. She was always there, lurking in the periphery, waiting for her moment to step into the light. 3 months since the accident that took me, or rather, that they took from me. It wasn't just an accident. It was a culmination of betrayal, a tragic end to a story written in tears and blood. He left, his footsteps fading into the symphony of mourning doves and rustling leaves in Ravenwood Cemetery, left to rot, left to be forgotten. Except I wasn't gone, not entirely. My presence lingered, a ghostly echo in the place where love once lived. My spirit lingered, tethered to the betrayal that stained my soul. I watched from the shadows, a silent witness to the life that continued without me. The pain, the sorrow, the betrayal, they were my chains, binding me to this world, refusing to let me rest. Blackthorn Manor, once our sanctuary, now echoed with their laughter. The walls that once held our secrets and dreams now reverberated with their joy, a cruel reminder of what was lost. The shadows seemed to mock me, whispering tales of betrayal and heartache. He held her, caressed her cheek, the same way he used to with me. Their love, so palpable, was a dagger to my spectral heart. I watched them, unseen, my presence a silent witness to their stolen moments. Rage, cold and sharp, ripped through the ethereal fabric of my being. It was a fury born of betrayal, a wrath that knew no bounds. My anger was a storm, relentless and consuming, threatening to tear apart the very essence of my existence. I saw my reflection in the grand mirror above the fireplace. The face staring back at me was not the one I remembered. It was twisted with pain, contorted with sorrow. The mirror, once a symbol of vanity, now reflected my torment, a wisp of smoke, a fleeting memory. It was all that remained of my once vibrant life. The smoke danced in the air, a ghostly reminder of the past, of the love that was now lost forever. No, I would not be forgotten. My spirit, though broken, would rise. I would reclaim my place, my story. I would not let their betrayal define my end. My resolve hardened, my purpose clear. I would be a chilling reminder, a specter of vengeance, haunting their every step. My presence would be a constant shadow, a cold breath on the back of their necks. They would know fear, as I had known sorrow. Her betrayal, his deceit, would be met with a vengeance as cold as the grave they left me in. The cemetery, once a place of rest, would become a battleground. My spirit would rise and they would pay for their sins. The pact was forged, in grief and in fury. The air grew heavy with the scent of lilies, my favorite. Or were they hers? It didn't matter. Her reflection in the mirror rippled, distorted. My essence, drawn to her like a moth to a flickering flame. Her scream, a primal echo as I surged forward. Her body so warm, so alive. Mine had been too, once. The transition was jarring, like being forced into a dress far too small, seams straining, bones creaking. But I was in control. She was mine now. His eyes, clouded with lust and false grief, finally saw me, or rather saw her, my vessel, my instrument of retribution. "Darling, you've changed," he murmured, oblivious to the chill that seeped into the room, to the flicker of the lights, to the unnatural glint in her eyes. Changed? My voice, raspy from disuse, resonated with an otherworldly timbre. "Oh, my love, this is only the beginning. You wanted to bury the past? Now the past will bury you." Terror contorted his features, his eyes wide with a fear that seemed to pierce through the very fabric of his soul. He stood frozen, unable to move, as if the weight of his past had finally caught up with him. Recognition dawned in his eyes like a sunrise over a graveyard, illuminating the dark corners of his mind. He knew who truly stood before him, and the realization was like a dagger to his heart. He knew who truly stood before him, a ghostly figure from his past, a specter of his own making. The weight of his sins crushed him like a tombstone, Each misdeed a heavy stone added to his burden. The weight of his sins crushed him like a tombstone, pressing down on him with an unbearable force. He could feel the cold fingers of regret wrapping around his heart, squeezing the life out of him. "Forgive me," he choked, his voice a broken whisper, barely audible over the pounding of his own heart. His plea hung in the air, a desperate cry for mercy that he knew would go unanswered. "Forgiveness is a luxury for the living," I hissed, my voice echoing with a cold, otherworldly resonance. My hand, now hers, reached towards him, not with love, but with the icy grip of death. My hand, now hers, reaching towards him, fingers outstretched like the claws of a vengeful spirit. The air around us grew colder, the chill of the grave seeping into his bones. Not with love, but with the icy grip of death. He felt the life drain from him, his strength ebbing away as the darkness closed in. His screams were swallowed by the silence of the grave that awaited him. He felt the life drain from him, his body growing cold and lifeless. His screams, once so full of terror, were now mere whispers, lost in the void. The silence of the grave awaited him, a final, inescapable embrace. His screams swallowed by the silence of the grave that awaited him. He would join me in the darkness, forever bound to the consequences of his betrayal. The shadows closed in, wrapping around him like a shroud. He would join me in the darkness, a place where light could never reach. Forever bound to the consequences of his betrayal, he would wander the shadows, a lost soul in an endless night, forever bound to the consequences of his betrayal. Blackthorn Manor, now our tomb, stood silent, a monument to love, loss, and the chilling echo of revenge. The walls whispered with the memories of what once was and what could never be again. Blackthorn Manor, now our tomb, stood silent, its halls echoing with the ghosts of the past. A monument to love, loss, and the chilling echo of revenge. The air was thick with the weight of forgotten dreams and unfulfilled promises. A monument to love, loss, and the chilling echo of revenge. The manor, once filled with life and laughter, now stood as a silent witness to the darkness that had consumed us all.